Hey there YouTube fans, AC Productions here, and I had a subscriber asking me to do a review of all the mods I've put on my bike. Well, here it is. It's finally a nice day outside and I'm able to take out my bike for a little bit, and I'm going to go over all the mods I've done on my bike and how they've been so far. So I'll be going from front to back on naming everything I've changed to the bike and how they've been. So let's go ahead and start. Alright, so far to date I did a blacked out windscreen, and what I did, this is actually the stock original windscreen, and the only thing I used to blacken it out was matte colored black Plasti Dip, and that's what I used to blacken out my stock windscreen. Figure $7 for the can, a lot better than paying $15 to $50 for a brand new one. Plus I don't like to have stock parts laying around my garage. Okay, next is this custom decal. I went to my graphics shop and had them make a custom decal where the centerpiece has been cut out. That way the light shines through it and lights up the Yamaha symbol. That way it pretty much covers up the light, and less light here means more you could see with the headlights. Alright, next is the custom headlights I did. So far so good. I haven't had any problems with the headlights or the projectors themselves. Turn signals, headlights, everything is still working really good. It's been already a couple months, so I haven't also, yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say everything so far so good on the headlights. All right, next up would be also I did have an accident last year, and as you can see there's a crack here. I just never bothered really replacing it because so far the other parts of the frame is still good, minus the headlight mounting bracket, where the headlight actually goes onto, was bent, but I replaced it. I also have a video for that on how to replace it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. This part I just didn't replace because it's just a small crack, barely visible really, unless you're looking at it like I'm showing you with the camera, you could see it. On the front wheel fender, it was also part of the accident, and it cracked over here. You could sort of kind of see the mark, or like a scar mark. So you could sort of see in different types of lighting the scar mark, because all this had broken off, and I was in a pinch at the time. So, and at that time also there was no fenders available. So what I did is I kind of used Bondo and primer and sandable primer. I try to do it best I can on fixing this. So far so good. It doesn't bother me that it has a scar there. It kind of reminds me of those actors, kind of like a story to tell. So far so good. It's been holding up pretty well. So, and I also used a high gloss red paint for this, and I only did it up to here, and the rest of it's still factory paint, but from a distance you can't even tell that I even did anything to the fender. Next would be the shortened turn signals. Ever since I did this upgrade or this mod, so far no more vibrations. I don't feel it no more, and I don't even get laughed at by my friends anymore for having wobbling turn signals. So, and plus it makes the bike look a lot better in my opinion. So now they're not sticking out here anymore, a little more flush. So, and also, I mean, if you did this headlight like I did, and you couldn't find any flush mount turn signals, well, if you have the headlight one, the turn signals are integrated into the daytime running lamps. So if you didn't want to have that, at least you'll have this and you're fine. So then you could just put like a blocking plate there and not even have anything there. But for me personally, I like the way they look. I just didn't like that they extended it out all the way out to here. Being more closer to the body, I think gives it a more stealthier look in my opinion. So far so good on those. No problems whatsoever. I've hit them on, like when I'm coming into my house through the gate, I've hit them a few times, and so far they're pretty good. They don't go anywhere. The fork frame sliders, so far still so good. They haven't come loose or nothing. So far I think the quality is still pretty well. Nothing bad so far there with the fork frame sliders. Okay, moving along to the back, I have the Spiegler brake lines. That's not, I mean, that's a mod that I got done, but I didn't do it because at that time I didn't really feel that comfortable with bleeding my own brakes, which I'm sure it's really easy. There's a lot of videos out there on how to install brake lines for the R3. I just got someone else to do it for me. Okay, and also by doing this upgrade, man, the brakes feel a lot more responsive now when I hit the brakes, instead of being squishy like they used to be when I first got the bike. So if you want to do a upgrade, I definitely recommend changing out the brake lines, and then later on in the future changing out the brake pads too, to more of a street performance kind of brake pad for more bite. But for now I'm just gonna stick with these until these wear out. So far so good for the way I ride. I don't drive too aggressive, so far so good in that department. Okay, next would be the RNG downpipe grill. So far so good. It's been protecting the way it's supposed to. The top grill is actually a homemade grill I did because I didn't want to spend $80 for a top grill. I just went to my local hardware, I would say, and actually bought a big screen kind of metal mesh. It was white. I measured it, cut it, chopped it, spray painted it black, and there you have it. For 30 bucks I made 2 of these radiator guards, one for me and one for my best friend. So far, it does what it's supposed to. No complaints there. Same with the downpipe grill, made of just a little bit more thicker metal than from what I had used, but that's to be expected for down here, not so much up there. But both are doing its job. No dents or scratches on it. So far, I would say the quality on it, it's really good. Okay, next is the carbon fiber wrap I did. So far, so good. It hasn't chipped or anything. So the quality so far on the wrap is going really well. Very easy to clean. If you have any dirt or debris, you know, just spray it off with some water, and then just, I would say with a light damp cloth, just wipe off the dirt. So far so good on that. This is my factory frame slider that I got. I saw it on a European R3, which in Europe is called the R25, and I saw how it looked and it was really cool. I didn't know why that the US market didn't put that for our R3s. I think it's really cool. I decided to buy it. It was $50, I believe, from the Yamaha dealership. But honestly, guys, the way that you came with the bracket, if you were to fall with this thing is made out of a hollow plastic. So it's just like this, and it's on there. I mean, but the bracket that it comes with, very cheap, I would say. If it's, I mean, I still bought it and got it anyway. I didn't return it just because the way I like the way it looked. I installed it in a different manner than using that bracket because the bracket is so cheap metal, very thin metal. Like I said, if you were to fall with that thing would have bent. It would fold, it would bend, it'd be garbage pretty much. So I didn't even install with the bracket. What I did for this, since it is hollow inside, I just filled it with foam, the ones that you could get for installation foam. I filled it on both of them and let it dry, and then I just kind of shaved it off so it could be, you know, at least have something inside. And then I just glued it. I just used shoe glue and glued it onto the fender. So far it's holding up still pretty well. I did have, like I said, I did have my accident last year with it. Just a few scrapes right here, but nothing major. So far it's holding really well. I like it. That's still the only damage I got on it. The shorty levers. So far, eBay shorty levers are not bad. I don't know why they're getting such slack for being cheap levers. You know, not everyone has $200 to spend on levers, and these levers have been working great. No problems, no issues with them, you know, on both the brake or the clutch. When I installed the clutch lever adjuster, that's the only time I had to adjust the whole clutch line because it wasn't grabbing where it was supposed to. But I have a video on that also on how to adjust it. So after I did the adjustment, no problems whatsoever. It grabs when it's supposed to, and so far no problems. The quality and finish on it still good. There is no wear marks anywhere on the lever. So far so good. No complaints on the levers. The only thing I would mention, if you do get these, if you feel like you have too much slack, if you move them up and down, if you feel too much slack, just get a very thin shim and just put it in between the lever and the bracket. Next will be the homemade counter I have over here from a radar detector. So far that's been holding up really well. No problems with that. Nothing with vibrations or anything because I do have these rubber end pieces on both front and back, so no scratches to my windscreen and nothing to the gauge cluster. So far so good on this department. It's been really good and helpful. So far so good on the flashers. Been coming in handy a lot lately, especially when I needed to pull over somewhere. I don't have to worry about, you know, putting my left or right signals. I just put my hazards and I'm good to go. Just letting drivers behind me know that I had to pull over for an emergency or just to pull over in general. The only thing I would say in this department would be the switch. I've noticed that if you don't hit the switch right on the plastic itself and you hit it on the rubber, it kind of just goes off. So other than that, the switch is really good. So then you would just have to kind of put the rubber back on there. It becomes a pain in the butt, but I would say, you know, prior to doing installation, if you put a little bit of glue, maybe some Gorilla Glue or Crazy Glue, and then put the rubber seal over it, that'll eliminate when it happens like this. Because if you know, put the signal and then you accidentally go like that and you get caught in the rain, water's going to get in there and it may cause damage to the little LED that's in there or the switch itself. But other than that, switch works perfect on and off when it, you know, when you press on it. Next will be the air temperature gauge sensor that I got. In my other video, my first video when I did this, it was an all digital display. Actually, after a few months of riding, it gave out and it just kept on reading the same degrees all the time, 32 degrees I believe all the time. I put a heat gun to the probe and it still read 32 degrees. So I swapped that out, did another video with this new temperature gauge, and so far so good. And I like the way this one looks a lot better than the other one. This one's a lot more clear and better to read in the daytime and really cool at nighttime. Okay, next would be this little pedal I have here. It's for when I'm riding. You're able to put your palm on it, so instead of gripping it all the time like this, which gets tiring, you're able to rest and just kind of use your palm to keep the throttle on. So far so good. If you've never used one before, it does get some getting used to. Okay, next would be the tank grip pads. What a difference it is to have these tank pads. Now I'm able to hug the bike when I'm making a lean or a turn. I don't feel like I'm slipping off the bike. So if you haven't gotten one of these tank pads yet, I would would suggest getting it. It helps a lot, especially when you're, you know, like I said, leaning or turning or whatever, maybe going a little bit fast. You know, it helps hug the bike a lot better. So definitely recommend getting something like this. I have to speed up the video, it's getting dark quick. All right, so next would be the carbon fiber wrap over here, and on this, so far so good. RNG engine case covers, no problems yet. So far so good, holding up. Aftermarket, the oil plug on there tight. I would say when you put this on, don't over tighten it, because then you're gonna have to get a tool and scratch up the, you know, the color of the aluminum. So put it on there, it will eventually, you know, just with the heat expansion and the cold contracting, it'll just self-tighten it really by itself. So maybe a little hard to get it off at when you need to do your oil change, but just get a towel and it'll come off, no problems there. All right, next would be my platform pegs here. What a difference it does after I did this installation. Now when I'm riding, I feel more comfortable when I ride, because now I have a more of a surface for my foot to be on, a lot better than just having that little stick to put your foot on. This is up to you guys if you want to get something like this. I got it just because I don't really ride all that fast. I just like to, you know, kind of cruise around, and so it's just for comfort levels, really not really advisable to take something like this kind of pedal to the track. I will be doing a track day, and I will be taking off these pedals and putting back my stock ones. If you're doing a track day, just stick with the originals, so in case you ever damage those, you won't feel bad. And if you're not doing track day, you just want it for comfort, definitely recommend to get something like this, which I like them so much. I actually got a matching set for the back passenger. When I do get passengers, they could actually have a good platform to put their foot on and feel comfortable, because obviously that little thin cushion is not really helping them at all. Doesn't seem to be very comfortable. So the only thing with the rear pegs were, since these were actually for an R6, they don't make these for R3, but I always manage to make them fit. The only thing I had to do was just get a little spacer, as you can see right over here, a little copper spacer to make these fit, because without that it would just be wobbling around. So I just had to get something like that on there. So as you can see, that little copper spacer, I had to like kind of sandwich it between the metal piece and the bracket, just so I could get it to fit properly and not have it get so sloppy. That would be also something to recommend to you're gonna have to get that if you get these pegs, because without it would just be sloppy, and the pegs would just be wobbling all over the place. But with it now, it's okay. It's on there right, and it's pretty sturdy. Your passenger could actually put their foot on it and just hop on the bike with no problems. Okay, next would be the S1R Two Brothers full exhaust. So far really good on the exhaust. Only thing for that for me was on how loud it was. If you saw my installation video on putting the silencer on there, I don't think that meter was really all correct. I would say it would be more at 100 decibels or more, but it was loud. And without having proper ear protection, after an hour worth of riding or two, your ears would be ringing, especially if you don't have any Bluetooth in your helmet or music to listen to. Just be, you know. So other than that, I love the muffler. I love the way it sounds now with the silencer in there. There's a silencer. It's the P1X silencer. That's the max bigger one that they have to silence the most decibels. They have another one which is like in the middle. It doesn't really do much, so I wanted to get something that was going to do a little bit more. The piping was silver, but over time it just kind of turns into this kind of brownish kind of color, so it's not a chrome color anymore. I try using polishes to get it back to chrome, but nothing works, so I just leave it as is. It's not hurting the performance of the bike. Okay, before I get to the back part of the bike, this little cable here is part of my battery tender. You know, I just have it hanging there right now because I just wanted to take out the bike to show you guys and do the review about it. But if you ever get this, just tuck it away in this little crevice here of the bike. It fits in there really nicely. And then, you know, when you put your bike away, you can put the battery tender on it, or you could plug something there. If you have heated gear, that's a good spot to have it. So you could, you know, just plug your heated gear to that. All right, so let's move on to the back. Okay, now we're at the rear, the secondary brake lights that I installed. These are not the original ones that I had installed when I made that video. These are the bigger LEDs. These are called SMD 5050. As you can see, the LED square is a lot bigger. The reason I changed it because the other ones were they were bright, but not that bright. So having these on there, what a difference. These are like 100 times more brighter than those other ones. So these are a lot better, and so far they've been working great. No problems with it. Really captures people's attention to slow down, because without them, I mean, the other ones I had, people would slow down, but they would slow down too close to me. Now when these are on, oh man, they stop pretty far away from me now. So far so good with these secondary brake lights. I couldn't imagine riding without them, so it's a good thing to have, because you know your little light here could only do so much, but having something like this to get people's attention, it's well worth it. Okay, going on to the back, I got the fender eliminator kit, and so far so good with the fender eliminator kit. It looks a lot better without that gigantic fender. So far so good with just having it small like that. No problems with anybody. I did the same method I did for shortening out the turn signals I did for the rear too, so they're not sticking out so wide from the bike, so they're very short. So the same thing I did from the front ones, I did to the back ones. Okay, sorry guys for all the crazy birds. It almost sounds like it's 4 o'clock in the morning here. Alright, so next we're moving on to the rear swing arm sliders and the spools. So far so good with these. No problems whatsoever. The only thing with this was I think I got some humidity in my storage unit, and plus riding in I got caught in the rain. I think they got a little bit corroded or something. But other than that, they've been holding up pretty well. They did get scratched a little bit at the bottom just because when I had my little accident, I did slide on the back end, so they scraped a bit on the bottom. Or maybe it was the top, I don't know where it was, but I kind of just moved the scrapes to the bottom so it's not noticeable. I'll probably have to take out these screws and clean them off so they don't look so disgusting, I guess. Nothing happened over here because I think this one definitely sticks out a lot more than this one. So this one got the blunt of the scratches. So other than that, so far so good on both of these items. Alright, next is the rear tire hugger, made out of some type of composite fiberglass material. So far so good on the rear tire hugger. It does make the bike look more of a sport bike. So far the only issue I really had was pretty much my fault, is that I have a rear stand, but for some reason I think I was using it on someone else's bike and I just kind of forgot to convert it back to use it with my spools. So when I put the rear stand on the bottom here, it kind of touched on the end. If you could really see that right here, the little lip of the fiberglass. So when I propped the bike up, I think it put a little bit of strain on the fiberglass and actually caused it to crack right over here. You could see it on the camera. Right over here, it caused it to crack. But other than that, so far so good. The construction on it's still pretty decent. No other cracks anywhere else on this side or the other side. Just minus only this one because of me putting the pressure to lift up the bike, which I thought was weird. I don't know how from down here it got cracked up here, but other than that, so far it's been holding up pretty well. If this crack gets worse or I get any other cracks, I will definitely keep you guys updated, because I know this is something that a lot of you guys have been looking to get but are not wanting to pay. I mean, I will admit that the shipping is crazy expensive. I mean, I think it was $40 or $70 for this thing, and then another $70 on top of it for shipping, which is insane. But it was between this one and another one that I kind of liked, but you know, I was getting feedback from my friends and my best friend letting me know that the other one kind of looked a little goofy because it had like some type of a screen material here and like little vents. It didn't look all that great. It just looks a little bit more professional, I guess, or more, you know, like a sport bike would. And so that's the reason I picked this one. So, like I said, so far so good, just minus that little crack that I got over here. But other than that, it doesn't look like it's getting any bigger. But if it does, or if anything happens, I will keep you guys posted on this rear fender tire hugger thing. Again, I'm sorry guys, but it got dark pretty quick, so I'm using my shop light for more light. Next would be our chain guard. Honestly, I installed it and I totally forgot it's even there. So far it's good. It hasn't got bent or scratched or anything. It's a little dirty right now. I haven't washed my bike in a little while, but so far so good on this. Really good material that it's made from, and had no issues or problems with that. Frame sliders I got from Sato Racing. So far the quality of it's really good. The thickness of the mounting bracket is really good. So far no issues on it yet. I do have a little bit of scratching on it towards the bottom here, because I was going through, I was riding somewhere and it was a construction zone, but you know, I have a bike, you know, I don't really have to like listen to those construction things. I could have just went around it, but When I got to the area where they were doing construction, the road was closed because there was no more road. It was actually a really big ditch. So I tried to turn around, and it was a lot of gravel there. I lost my footing and I dropped my bike. So thank God for the sliders, because the sliders actually got a little bit scratched up, but my plastics are nowhere scratched up at all. Alright, so you can see the scratches right over here at the bottom. So good thing to have is the frame sliders for anything that might happen. Either you do have a slide or you drop your bike. These will definitely protect your bike. Alright, so here's the kickstand plate. So far so good. I haven't had any issues with this one. So the rubber on the bottom that I installed for it is holding very well. So it's been doing its job very well. So no major issues with this kickstand. But I do recommend checking the bolts once in a while. But so far so good. I don't think any of the bolts are loose. Just since they are screws, and you know, if you watch my video on it, do use Loctite, but you never know. So just every so often, just check your screws, make sure that they're tightened down and not loose. Shifter lever has been working very well. No problems with it. I feel like it's a lot better than the original stock one. So comparing it to the stock shift lever, which was actually welded on 2 points of the shifter, I didn't really feel comfortable with the other shifter. But with this one, it's a lot better. It's all one solid piece of aluminum and good quality. Okay, next is to show you my wheel lights. So I got a wheel light here in the rear. It's activated by motion, so as soon as the wheel starts going, spinning, it actually lights up. So I'll hit it for you. There we go. So as my wheel is spinning, it actually makes designs if you are looking from afar. It's really cool. I have one in the back here, and then I also have a bigger one in the front. The reason I have a small one in the back is because, you know, the chain on the other side and the rotor here, really this is all the space you have. So as it's spinning, that's the designs that it'll kind of cover that area. And in the front, you know, we only have a rotor on one side, and the other side it's actually nothing there, so you get more chances to see a design. So over here in the front, let's see if I could get this one activated for the light. There we go. So here is my wheel light for the front. Like I said, on the other side of the front wheel, you get the rotor, but on this side, there is nothing. So you get the full width of the rim to have designs as you're driving. So I will try to make a video for you guys and post it so you guys can see the style of designs that both front and rear wheels make. You don't want to, I have them zip tied to the spokes. So if you're going to be doing 130 or 140 miles an hour, it's not recommended to have this, because you could, you know, pretty much endanger you or other people around you. This could actually slingshot off the wheel and either hit you or hit someone else. So you don't want that. If you're just cruising along, the highest I've done with no problems with this is around 80 miles an hour. Anything higher than that, not recommended. Okay, now what you guys been waiting for, dark. Now let's test out let me show you my my front terminator eyes. Here's my front switch. As you can see, it's really hard to see in the dark, but that's my little front switch to turn on the terminator eyes. It's a lighted switch. So turning on the switch here turns on my terminator eyes, my demon eyes, as some of you guys might call it. It's a separate switch from everything else, just because there's no point of having these on when you know, you're riding your bike, because the headlight HID projectors actually overpower the terminator eyes, so you won't even be able to see them anyway. So having a separate switch, I just turn it off and then just turn on my regular lights, and I'm all good to go. Next would be my glow that I got going on with all my LEDs. I got 2 strips here in the front. I got 2 strips on that little right by the engine area. I did white as an accent color right here on the top. Then moving to the back, I did 2 LEDs up here. I'm actually going to do an update to my LED install, which I'm all the way at the bottom here at the floor, over here in this little plastic area here. I'm actually going to install 2 more LED strips, so that we could give it a little bit more more glow in that area. As you can see, it's kind of dark, a little bit of a dark transition from here to here. It's kind of dark in that area, so if I put a little bit more glow, I think it should light it up, and it should be good. So I do have a remote with this setup, which I always keep with me in my jacket, and I have different lighting options. You see, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will try to kind of just go through a few and maybe get to one that I kind of like. I kind of like that one because it pulses really fast, and then it slows down, and then it stops, and then it just does it all over again. I like to use this when I'm you know, when I meet up with other riders, just to show off a little bit. Captures their attention. And I think this remote setup has, I believe, 7 or 8 different glowing options. This is another one of my favorites, which kind of pulses, you know, on and off. I set it to really slow because really fast it just defeats the purpose. You know, you want that nice cool glow effect, so I just have it at a more slower pace. So there's my one option of lights. I do have a second option of lights that I did install on my bike, which is not only red with the white accent. I have a switch where I could switch it to be all white with a red accent. So let me show you that one right now. And all my switches I kind of have here in the front, so I could just go switch on the fly right here. So there we go. Now I have all white. I got the same setup as before. The only thing is that I did not install any white LEDs in this department right here, which I'll also be doing in the future. I'm actually going to install more white LEDs to kind of complete the white glow. So as you can see, white glow with red accent, which is also hooked up to my my different options of LED strobe effects. So those are the 2 color options that I selected to do for myself and my bike. Alright, there you guys have it. There is my white daytime running lamps, which also turns into a turn signal when you put the turn signals on. You got the red demon eye, and then I also have a white halo ring on the back of that to kind of give it a little, you know, contrast, or a little, you know, break from the red. So 2 whites, 1 red. So far so good. I haven't had no issues with these lights. So everything's been, it's been good. It's been getting a lot of attention. A lot of people love these lights. Ask me where I got these lights done. I tell them that I've done it. I give them my my YouTube card so they could check out my videos. So this is very popular, since not many R3 owners here in Chicago, and especially ones with custom headlights like how I have for me, like how I've done for my bike. There we go. It's a little bit bright but on the camera, but if you were looking at this in real life, you could actually distinguish the white from the red ring. It looks a lot better in person, guys. I wish I had a better quality camera to really show you the true look of this, but unfortunately this is all I have for now, and maybe I'll get a better camera in the future. There is the white triangle decal. So here is the decal that I was showing you guys earlier, which is all blacked out on this area, but the center part, which has the Yamaha logo, is the only part that's actually clear, so you could see the light shine through that. So the reason I got this is because without it, I did change the light inside to a brighter LED, and that was before I did my custom headlights. But now that I got my custom headlights done, having this real bright LED kind of, you know, takes your attention away from the headlights. I didn't want that. So I got this custom made. Got it custom made. So far so good. It's really cool because now you just have a little small circle and more of your attention goes to the headlight. So that looks a lot better, a lot cleaner, without having that really bright triangle light on. If If you haven't put a bright LED in there, you may have a dimmer one, you know, then you won't have to worry about it. I mean, if you have a dim light in there, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to be able to tell or notice it so much. But since I have a bright one, I did that. I think it looks pretty cool. Even if you were to put a dim light and put that decal on there, it just kind of, you know, it makes the bike your own. So I think it's cool. So there's that. Let's do the turn signals and then hazard lights. Alright, so now we're going to do the turn signal. We'll do a left turn signal. And like I said earlier, guys, if you did the custom headlights and say you didn't want to have these anymore, you actually have a turn signal in here. So if you didn't want to have that, you could actually eliminate this and it'll pretty much look like this. If you didn't have the side signal light, you have that front turn signal light and you're good to go. You don't even need to get some aftermarket flush mount turn signals. You have a nice one inside the headlight, which looks really awesome. But since I have both, that's how it looks like with both. With only one, it looks like that. More stealthier look. Who knows, maybe in the future I'll probably take off this and just keep the one I have inside. But for now, I don't mind these so much. I actually like this shape and how they look on my bike. Plus, for me, it kind of warns people in the front when I'm making a turn, having both of them on. Now back to the front. Now we're going to turn off and cancel out the turn signals. And then we are going to use our hazard lights. Now with the hazard lights, you're going to notice you're going to hear the clicking noise. The clicking noise is from the flasher relay. So that's why you hear the clicking noise. So there we go, the blinker of the light switch. Then you also have your indication light on your gauge there. So far, no problems with the flasher. If you didn't have the side turn signal, it'll just pretty much look like that, covered up. So far the flashers have been working really well. Like I said, has come in handy a lot. Alright guys, I have the bike. I had turned on the bike just temporarily to turn on the headlight so you guys could see how it looks like with the headlight. So here it is with the headlight on. So we get there to focus out of the glare. As you can see with the HID on. And again guys, in person you could actually distinguish the lights a lot better in person. I'm trying to do the best I can with the camera. So there's with HID on. I'm going to turn on my brights so you could see, well, with only one headlight on, you could see kind of how it looks like. But with both headlights on, the other one going here. Get that to warm up there so it could show you guys. So now with both headlights on, you can see how bright that is. Okay, now with the bike running, with one HID on, then next will be with the high beam on. Now with both headlights on, you can see the red a lot more in real life compared to the camera. It's not capturing the red, but it's there and you'll be able to see it. Then with the hazard lights, Okay, now here is a point of view with only one headlight on. You know, just your main low beam. As soon as you turn on your high beam, because the bulbs that I have with this bike, with the kit that I got are 6,000 Kelvin. So it's a nice white colored light. I like it a lot. So here it is. Here's with the high beam. And you get a lot more coverage, obviously. So if I ever get a chance to go down a dark road or something, I may do a moto vlog in the future. Then I could really kind of show you guys the beam spectrum of how much light you get, you know, on the road. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show you a stock. Maybe if I have a video, but you know, show you from stock to now on the beam of light and color. One other thing I forgot to mention to you guys, when you have HIDs, you know, before when you had your normal bulbs in, you know, we have that little button on it to flash our lights, you know, to warn people in front of us. One thing is that when you get HIDs, you kind of give up that option a little bit, unless you've been having your high beams on for a while to give the bulb a chance to warm up. Like I had my high beam on for a while now, so if I were to turn it off, I could, since the bulb is still warm, I could actually press that button there to flash. But as soon as you let that bulb cool down, doing something like this, you won't be able to do it, because it's not gonna have time to warm up, you know, especially if you're just doing it really quick. It's not going to it's not gonna light up, pretty much what I'm saying. But if you have LEDs as headlights, oh man, I did have LEDs for a little while as headlights, and doing the flash thing, you don't even have to wait for anything to warm up. You just press that button and it's instant flash. You just press it and it's just like it blinks right away. It was really cool to have those LEDs for a while. I did want to transfer those LEDs to these projector headlights, but the way that these projector headlights are made didn't allow me to install those LEDs, just because of the dimensions and everything. It just didn't fit, and there was no way of me actually making them or retrofitting them to fit. So I was kind of just stuck to just use the HIDs that the projectors came with. So just a little heads up for you guys, you know, in case, you know, you turn off, you know, if you're just riding with your, I mean, let me turn it off actually. We'll get back to the video. I'm just gonna let them cool down a little bit, because if I do it now, it turns on right away. Let me let the bulbs cool down a little bit, and then let me show you what I mean on why it doesn't turn on right away. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Alright guys, it's been a few minutes already. I think it had enough time to cool down. Alright, I'm going to press the button to turn, not the actual switch to turn on the high beams. I'm just going to push the pass button, is I think what it's called. I'm going to press it. Let's see what happens with the bright. As you can see, it's not lighting up as bright as it should be, because the bulb itself hasn't had enough time to warm up to give its max potential light. So that's only one of the minuses about having HIDs, especially for your brights. When you're trying to just use it as an option for passing, or, you know, to let oncoming traffic, or whatever it is, or, you know, some car is going to cut in front of you, want to flash your brights at them, you know, it's not gonna work effectively as having a standard bulb or an LED headlight bulb. It's not there yet. So that's my only cons about HIDs. And now this is how it looks like just with the LEDs and the Terminator demon eyes without the headlights on. As you can see, it gives a good fair amount of glow on the floor. So as you can see, this is how bright they get, and if this doesn't get your attention out on the street, then I have no idea what will. But you can see how bright they are. Next I wanted to show you, but inside my storage unit, because it was just too dark, and out in the dark I wasn't able to show you really well, my homemade Garmin GPS mount that I did. And I did this mount way before RAM came out with a mount that you actually connect to right here with the longer bolt. So this works for my purpose. I probably won't have it here too much longer. I am planning to get a different mounting system. For now, this is actually working out very well. I just put my GPS here, and I got my little power cable here, and I just connect it to the side of the GPS when I have it mounted. So this supplies power to my GPS so it doesn't die out on me. So far so good with the mount. Not bad for the way I did it, with just spare things laying around the house. I was able to make a bracket. I think the only thing I needed to get was from the hardware store was a longer bolt. That's about it. Then lastly, what I wanted to show you while I was in the storage room, because like I said, there's not that much light out at all, it's kind of nighttime outside, was the power commander. Power commander with the auto tune so far has been good. Only problems with that is if you know, if you wanted to just use the power commander without the auto tune, you have to set it in the computer. You have to connect your laptop to it and then kind of adjust the trims, and you would need to like really know your stuff in this department. I really don't know that much about the power commander and how to set it and properly tune it or any of that stuff. So that's why I bought the auto tune. That way you could just, as you're riding, adjust to the temperature and all that other stuff, which is fine. But you know, there's days that you kind of just want to rip on your bike a little bit, you know, go a little bit faster. I would like to really get my bike tuned properly on dyno and get other things tuned on it, because I would like to really maximize on the power that this bike has, which I know it has a lot of power. It's just a matter of getting it properly tuned to get it. I mean, to be able to maximize on enjoying it. But so far, no complaints on it really. I mean, the bike performs well. The only other minus I would say right now, not having it properly tuned, is that it does drink a little bit more gas than normal. Before I had the power commander, I would say I fill up on a tank of gas and it would last me for 3 days at least, with continuously riding all over the place. But now with the system, now I will fill up and then I'll have to fill up again if I'm doing a lot of riding. I would have to fill up later that day. So if you guys do get the power commander, if you guys just get the power commander itself, or if you guys get the combination of power commander and auto tune, I strongly suggest taking your bike to go get properly tuned at a motorcycle shop. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share my videos. If you know someone with another R3 out there that's looking to do some upgrades or some aftermarkets, and I've done a video for that particular project, share my videos. I really appreciate it guys, and thanks for watching.